If you learn anything from this show, let it be that we are all imperfect humans and we all make mistakes and we all can grow from them and the world won't end and life will be okay. So with that lesson, I fucked up the microphone recording of this episode. I didn't change one little button so that it was taking the audio from my microphone and not my laptop. And for the first time ever, I did not do a test to make sure my microphone was connected properly. I do it every time. But listen, guys, I was that excited about this episode. Okay. Luckily, I recorded on my camera and I manipulated the audio a little bit so there wasn't a horrible background noise, but the audio quality will not be as good as it usually is. However, the episode is too good not to put out. I hope you enjoy it. I love you single bitches. I love all of your single phases. I loved my own, and I hope you take something from this episode. Make sure you subscribe on the platform you listen to so you never miss an episode. Rate and review on whatever platform, Spotify, Apple, and follow at Human to Human Pod on Instagram because I have a sexy Instagram feed going. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to Human. I am your host, Jessica McDonald, and this episode is a part of a series of 4 all about dating. I mean, I say it's a series of 4, but it is likely to just progress into the entire podcast because this podcast is all about dating. But today's episode, I think, is arguably maybe the most important, and it is all about being single and embracing being single. And I genuinely don't think that you can attract the right person in your life unless you get really comfortable being single. Not necessarily like you need to be really comfortable being alone or you need to be really like happy being alone 24/7. But I think an acceptance of being single is very important to attract the right person. This raises your standards, it attracts like-minded people, and you're not going to run into as many shit douchebags. Like shitty people. I mean, I'm gonna say shitty guys because I am a straight woman who dates men, and so that is what I'll be referring to mostly in this episode. But if you are someone who is recently single or has been single for a long time or struggles with being single, this is an episode for you. If you've ever been single in your life, which everybody has, this episode is for you. So I want to start with a little epiphany that I had, I would like to say a year ago. Yeah, I'd like to say a year ago. So a little bit of backstory. I am such a relationship girl. Like, I've always kind of loved being in a relationship. I was in a 2-year long-term relationship in high school from grade 10 to grade 12. It sounds like 3 years. It was a bit over 2 years. And I also had like a grade 9 boyfriend. And I am currently in a relationship. And hold the fucking phone. Just because I say I'm currently in a relationship doesn't mean you should click off this episode. I was single for 2 years, from the time I was 18 to the time I was 20. And I learned so much in the experience. And I think I am a good person to talk about all the different stages of dating. So we're going to cover in future episodes. This one, we're going to cover being single and just embracing that whole thing and not focusing on the dating aspect. But I'm also going to do episodes on the talking stage, on being in a long-term relationship, and the breakup stage. Because, girly, I've lived them all in different ways. Yes! Okay, so I had an epiphany about a year ago. Yes, okay, I said that. I had an epiphany about a year ago where I moved back from Vancouver. I lived there for 3 months. And like when you're about to move away for like a short-term amount of time, it's really a good time to be like, I have to be single. I'm not going to meet someone now right before I'm about to change my entire life. So that's like a good excuse if you're like kind of like forcing yourself to be single. But I was nearing the end of my Vancouver journey and I always knew that I was going to come back to Toronto where my roots are. And so guys, I'm like embarrassed to say this. The day I got back from Toronto, I downloaded the dating apps. While I was in Vancouver, I like downloaded a few and like did a little hookups here and there. Yes, I was about to like say like only one, but that's not true. Anywho, sorry mom and family members. I got home, downloaded Bumble right away, and just started the dating right away. And if you listen to the first episode of 2022, you'll hear that I said that at the beginning of 2021, I started it literally being like sad over a guy ending a one date exchange. I'd been on one date with this guy, but we had been talking for 2 months. COVID, all that stuff. We've been like virtually going on FaceTime dates, all the fucking shit. Anywho, I just immediately dove into dating when I got back from Vancouver. I feel like my boyfriend's gonna learn like new things about me by listening to these podcast episodes that I wouldn't like explicitly like talk to him about. I mean, none of it is a secret. Clearly, I'm putting it on the internet. But so I just immediately started dating. Truly. And eventually, after dating a lot of different weird dudes, I don't know how, and I don't know why. I think this happened on a walk. You know those like COVID self-care mental health walks? Yeah, one of those. I thought, oh my God, being single is the default to living, not being in a relationship. And I don't know at what point I started to believe that like the way you should just live is the way you should be in a relationship. Like you should just be in a relationship. That's just how like normal life should be. That's obviously incorrect. I think also like we just receive messaging all the time. Oh my God, Kate. Yes, this makes so much sense. I had this whole realization on my TikTok feed. All I saw was single talk and dating talk and people saying like, here's how to find a boyfriend. If you're single, like here's how to fix that. And I'm like, what? Guys, listen. Being single isn't something to fix. That is the default natural way to live. That's how you come into the world, and that is how you leave the world. Even if you leave the world and you are married or you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend or whatever, you die alone. Even if you die at the same time as your spouse, you still die alone. So the default to living is actually being single. So let's just like clear that air first. It is natural, it is good, it is normal, and it is more than okay to be single. There is nothing wrong with you that needs to be fixed or changed. I think we receive messaging from society all the fucking time saying like, if you're single, here are 5 steps on how to like meet the dream man you love. Or on TikTok, it's like, oh my God, how like a Tinder date that I like did just because I was bored turned into my husband. And then like the bitch is sitting here who've like wanted a boyfriend forever listening to this being like, this bitch wasn't even trying and she found a man. I want one so bad. How can I not find one? Ladies, I think I just said the issue right there. When you want it so bad, the world won't give it to you. I know, it's so unfair. Literally the moment I was like, okay, world, I don't need a man. I have been on dates with whack fucking weirdos. I am so ready to just like do my own thing. I got so fed up. I was just like, I'm going to find fulfillment from my podcast, my friends, my family, my job, myself, my schooling, all that stuff. I guess you walked into my life, my current boyfriend. But like, I'm not telling you that like, as soon as you're like, okay, I won't look, universe. Okay, you know the TikTok that's like, I have to explain it if you're not watching the YouTube because you can't see my eyeballs, but it's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm fine. I don't want a man. Opens an eye, closes it. Opens an eye, closes it. Trying to peek. Is it here? Is he here? Is he here? Is he here? Oh, I'll do like an audio version. Okay. No, universe. I don't want a boyfriend. Is he here? Is he here? Where is he? Is he here? Okay. No. Trust me. Universe, I'm good. I'm happy being single. Where is he? Is he here? Is he here? Do you see him? Is that it? Did I just get a text? Did I just get a new DM? Literally, that is not the real version of like letting the universe take its course. So when you're putting so much pressure on it, it's when it won't happen because I think you also just get like way too excited way too early. When I met my boyfriend, I literally stopped taking birth control because I was like, let me paint the picture. In February, I was not on birth control for like a year and a half. Prior to this, I was in a long-term relationship and I was on it, and then I was having sex with some people, so I was on it. But then I had this whole like, I don't want to fuck random people. I'm going to go off birth control. I love talking about this in my parents' basement. Hopefully my mom listens to this when I'm not here. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back on birth control. And at the same time I went back on birth control, you know what? I'm going to leave the part that I'm like really going to expose myself for a future episode. Trust me, guys, I promise I'll tell you. But like, at the same time I got birth control, I found out about something else. Sex, STI related. And so then I was on birth control for like 2 months, and it was genuinely because I wanted a boyfriend so bad. Guys, I'm being more honest with you than I am with like myself in private or like my friends. Because I think this is stuff that you don't actually like, you won't admittedly say out loud until one, the phase of your life is over. This version of me is not alive anymore, but she's coming back for this. And you also aren't as honest with yourself about this, but like literally this was my thought process. I was like, I want a boyfriend so bad, and I'm dating. I am working the room of the online space of men. I'm going to get a boyfriend and start having sex, because I made a vow to myself I will not be having sex with a guy unless he is my boyfriend. I kept to that, guys. I kept to that. Okay. Sort of. Kind of. I was about to say, like, never mind. I'm just like TMIing the fuck out of this episode. So I dated around, but I was on birth control because I was like, I'm going to get a long-term boyfriend. And then I went on a date with this like super weird guy. And that's what sparked the whole like, fuck this, I'm going to embrace being single and like, I don't want a man. So I was like, why the fuck am I on birth control? Because I also went through a bunch of old photos and saw how my skin, a part of my like reasoning, quote unquote, for going back on was because I was like, it makes my acne so much better. And like, I think it actually does, but I think I was talking myself into it. And then I looked back on old photos and was like, my skin looked fine off birth control. So I was like, okay, I admitted to myself, I was honest with Jess, and I was like, listen, Jess, you're back on it just because you think you're going to get a long-term boyfriend and start having sex all the time. So why are you on it? And I knew my mom would be like, I don't know. I just didn't need my mom to be involved in this process. So I literally, if you ladies have ever taken the pill, there's like at the end of your period, you know, you finish your period pills and then you need to start your new cycle pills. It was like a Sunday, and the Monday I needed to start taking my new like actual birth control pills. And my boyfriend had like, he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. He like slid into my DMs like randomly, like kind of like weeks leading up to this, but I didn't think anything of it. I was like, yeah, he's hot, but like, what, who cares? And so weirdly on the Sunday, I was like, he slid in again or something, or whatever. And I was like, we should hang out sometime. And he responded, did not expect this, being like, yeah, I'm free on, or yeah, what day are you free? I'll drive. And I had not expected guys to be like so on the ball of that, especially because him and I never had like a consistent back and forth DM, which sounds like really weird now that I think about it, that I was like, let's just hang out. And he was like, sure. And so we planned a date for Saturday. So a week from the day that I'm speaking of. And I kid you not, my thought process was, oh my God, okay, well, I should stay on the pill because I'm going on this new date. And then I was like, Jess, you don't even know if it's a date. Like, this probably isn't a date. You haven't been like, we had like a teeny bit of flirts on the text, but like not really. And so I was like, Jessica, you have done this before where you assume one date is going to turn into something. We're not doing it anymore. We are not doing it anymore. You have no idea who this dude is. You could talk to him once and then never speak to him ever again. Stop. Like 2 seconds ago, you were going to go off birth control. Don't let this man change this. So I went off. Well, 2 weeks later, I went back on because I started being sexually active again with the man who is now my boyfriend. But this whole story kind of tells you, I mean, does it tell you anything? I hope it tells you something, that I was putting so much pressure on guys. I was literally assuming every guy I went on one date with, I was going to fucking marry. I was literally assuming every guy I was talking to was going to be the guy I started dating long term. Because I'd been single for 2 years and I was kind of over being single, and I know I love being in a relationship and whatever. And so I was like, let's do it. But I think not going off birth control and actively taking the pressure off that first date with my now boyfriend literally changed everything. Because I said to myself, like, no, there's no expectations. You're not going to have sex with this guy. You're not going to date this guy. So I went into our first date not even thinking it was a date. And I think that's so important, because when we sit in a situation and put so much pressure on it, it's not going to go the way we want to. Because the universe is like, fuck you, you need something else. And so that's why I think it's so important to be like, okay, let's focus on myself. Let's focus on the things that actually fulfill me. Let's not just like think we're going to get all our happiness from men. And when I make an episode about the talking stage, I'll talk all about you know, going through the talking stage in a way that's like, hopefully like honors both enjoying being single and like having fun and like doing what you want to do. Because trust me, guys, my 2 years of singleness was the talking stage. Like, literally was the talking stage. But at the very end of it, I finally got to a point where I was happy being single. I think that there's a belief as well that I also had about, when you're not talking to a guy, your life is boring. And I was just chatting with a friend yesterday about how she's like, you know, like when I was like having this thing with this guy, it was like total chaos, but it was like so fun. And then I like had to get over this guy, but like my life has been so calm now. And like she got a dog, and like she's like, I'm wanting a bit of chaos. I'm wanting a bit of healthy chaos. And live your best life. I was healthy chaos forever. I am healthy chaos. But there is a belief that like, oh, my life is boring if I don't have a guy in it. And I think like it doesn't have to be. You can find other things that are exciting and fun rather than just like fucking with your dating life all the time. And so what I was going to say was that, what was I going to say? Oh, the analogy about looking for a job. So there's this like saying of like, well, when you want a job, you go out and you search for it. A job isn't going to fall in your lap. So why isn't dating looked at the exact same way? I believe this in some ways and I don't believe this in other ways. And that's what I like repeated to myself all the time. I'm like, I want a boyfriend, so why won't I go look at it? And that's an empowering statement. But then when you add that element of pressure, it makes your filter of men so fucking trash. I think you settle so much easier. You like say like, oh, I'm talking to this guy, but like, this thing's kind of not my thing, but like, whatever, like, whatever. Like even my I don't want to say my brother, because I don't think I should expose him, but my brother was talking to this girl, and I think he like had come to a point where he had like been single for a couple months and like done the like kind of talking to different women, like seeing what's out there thing. And I think he got to a point where he was like, okay, I'm cool now to like kind of see if someone can be my girlfriend. And so like he's allergic to cats and doesn't like cats, but the girl he was talking to like had a cat and was obsessed with the cat. And he was like, I don't know, like she's just so great that I'm just like, I don't care about the cat. And like normal, like level-headed him would just like know his non-negotiables. And like don't get me wrong, if the woman of his dream had a cat, like I'm sure he would settle. There's a healthy amount of settling. But when it's like the beginning stages of something, you know, her love for her cat is only going to grow and she's only going to talk about it more. And his like dislike for cats because of his allergies and stuff, like that's going to remain. And so I think that when you put that pressure on it, it makes it just like the person's so fucking warped in your head. But we get blinded by like the urge that we want a relationship so fucking badly. We really do. And so I think this whole philosophy of when you get a job, you look for it is kind of bullshit in some ways, because when you're single and you know you want a relationship, perfect. Let's trust the universe. Let's put that into the universe. I am open to love in my life. I'm open to a relationship. I feel like I've done a lot of healing. Like, let's fucking do it. But there's a difference between searching frantically and just wanting it so bad you're gonna like squeeze all the juice out of a grape like a human being. And then there's another mindset of like, I'm open to it. I'm going to be paying attention. I'm going to like notice the hot guy in the grocery store. I might even go up to the hot guy in the grocery store. Abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, let me take me as a prime example. I was stopping the mindset of like, I want a guy and that's all I'm going to get my fulfillment from, and was like, fuck a guy, I don't need that, and think about everything around me and like get fulfilled by everything around me. And at the same time, I was the one who initiated my first date with my boyfriend, my now boyfriend. You know, like I was in a state of like not putting pressure on things, but my eyes were still open. We don't need to like close our eyes and be like, I'm not looking, universe, I'm not looking, put him in my lap, because that's not how the world works. My eyes are open. I am open to receiving a man. If a hot man is DMing me, abso-fucking-lutely, I might be like, hey, we should hang out sometime, and then just like leave it be. It's when you're like, hey, we should hang out sometime, and then you check your phone every fucking 5 seconds, and then he replies, and you're like, he responded, let me text every single one of my girlfriends, let me screenshot it and send it to everybody. that's when we cross the line a little bit, ladies. That's when we get a little bit obsessed. Just a little bit. And I can say all these things because I was and am her. She is still inside of me, and that is okay. I love her. I nourish her. I take care of her. I feed her. So there's a fine balance, truly. And I'm not telling you to close your fucking eyes. And so this is something that my therapist told me for so long, which she's told me multiple times, and I've thought about it so many times. And I love her so fucking much for it. And it's so cool dating a man now thinking about it. Because trust me, guys, you're not going to be single forever. Because they do sometimes just come into your fucking life and you're like, whoa, one day I was single and now I'm going on 3 dates a week with this person. What is happening? It kind of happens sooner than you think and when you don't expect it. I know, fuck all the people who say it happens when you don't expect it, but I'm sorry, they're kind of right. And she would say, I noticed with the podcast, I say something and then I go on a whole tangent and then I come back to what I was saying. I just did it right now too, but I think that's kind of the beauty of this. I hope you like it. Subscribe, rate, and review, and follow me on Instagram at human2humanpod if you do. Okay, sorry, that was gross. Anyway, my therapist, good old, I want to call her TP, good old therapist. TT, we call her good old TT, turn therapist. Ooh, turn therapist, I like that. Good old TT said, Jess, I love that. I think that's going to be my therapist's new name because every time I talk about her, I try and say her name, but I think I should keep some realm of privacy. So TT was like, okay, when I lay in bed at night, that's when I think about boys the most. Truly. That's when I'm sad I'm single the most. Get yourself a weighted blanket. Get it. Especially because it's still winter. Get yourself a weighted blanket. My love language is physical touch. I need to be physically touched. Having a weighted blanket feels like there's a boyfriend lying on top of you. Trust me, changes the game. But I was every time I'm laying in bed at night and I'm alone and sad and feel like I'm never going to meet my person, she was like, Jess, I used to do this too when I was single. And this is something that actually could help a little bit. Wish him well. Know that your future partner is existing in the world somewhere. Because it's true. They are. Unless they're 20 years younger than you and they're not born yet. And that's weird. And I don't think you're manifesting that. Think about how they're existing somewhere in the world and just wish them well. Send them good, positive vibes, good thoughts. Hope they're doing the work, the healing that they will have when you meet them eventually. Think about how everything they're experiencing right now, I feel my smile curl up. I love when I'm talking about things I'm really feeling excited about and cute and emotional and sentimental about. But truly, they are existing in the world somewhere and their experiences that they're living right now, they'll probably tell you about one day when you're dating them. And all the experiences they're living are accumulating to who they're going to be when you meet them. So when you're lying in bed at night and you're feeling so lonely, think that you're going to meet them one day and trust the universe it'll happen and wish them well, send them good thoughts, hope they're doing the healing that they should be for when they meet you, and fucking go to bed or smoke a joint, do what you gotta do, girlie. But I hope that can be some sort of a helpful thought. And now dating my boyfriend now, that's the weirdest fucking thing to think about. It's so cool and empowering, but I had times where I was literally so I'm single, yeah, you sucks. And then I think those thoughts before bed, and now I'm now I know where you were when I was thinking that about you. Now, you were with your ex, or you just got out of your relationship, or you were living your single life too. And it's so cool. And this kind of made me think about also, I had this thought process so much when I was single of when you, again, when you're laying in bed at night, these are when these fucking bitching thoughts, these bitchers come up. Why does no one want me? Why does no one love me? Why does no one want me to be their girlfriend? Guys, trust me. And I'm not saying someone does and someone does. I'm saying someone does is think about the people you know in your life. Think about weird dates you've been on. Think about things that you've ended, situationships, relationships, fuck buddiness. Think about some event in your life that you have probably ended or rejected someone, or someone just told you you're hot and you declined them. Literally think about any of those circumstances. That just proves someone does want you. Correct. Someone does want you. But guess what, homie G? You have the self-motherfucking respect to say no. Because multiple people I'm sure want you, but you love yourself, you know your values, you know your boundaries, you know your standards, and you're not going to date fucking anybody. Okay, so that's a good thing. You're not unattractive. You're not funny. You're not lame. You are so fucking cool, and you're not just going to like pick the first cherry on the apple tree that says, hey, I want you, you know? You are going to take your time, let the world do its fucking thing, and just trust the right person will come in, because you don't want to date just anybody, and you know that people do want you, because you're a fucking baddie, okay? Speaking of which, when so many shitty people are coming into your life, and you did what I did, where you just dated shitty dude after weird dude after awkward dude after like super weird, over the line dude, think about this. Again, the woe is me mindset. Why are so many guys coming into my life that suck? Why are all these people just like the worst? Why can't I find a good guy? Do good guys even exist? I literally thought this. How many times can I say literally in an episode? I genuinely thought, or questioned, is there good guys out there? Listen, bitches, I've met my boyfriend and his friends. They're such good guys. They like talk about women's issues when women aren't around. I mean, this should be the bar. This should be the standard, okay? Ooh, I should definitely talk about this in the talking stage talking stage episode. But my friend and I used to always say, like, let's not applaud a fish for swimming. Let's have our standards. Let's have our non-negotiables. If they meet it, awesome. Cool. I can go on another date with you. Awesome. If I have fun with you, awesome. Cool. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I went on a date with this guy and it was so good and I'm going to marry him. Blah, blah, blah. I hope he texts me. When is he going to text me? Is he texting me? Is he texting me? When is he going to text me? This was my brain. Guys, this is my brain. This is also my brain, like, pre-knowing that I have ADHD. Anyway, let's not get too excited here. If he meets the bar, cool. Awesome. Amazing. Proceed. Let's not put too many eggs in one basket. Let's not too much pressure. Okay, when I say don't put too many eggs in one basket, though, I had a ex-friend, say to me, like, Jess, like, you need a roster. Like, you need multiple men on the go. Not my thing. That is asking for crazy town, Jess. Like, crazy town. Me on fucking crack. If I have a roster, I am on crack. Like, I used to get, I still want to say it in present tense, even though I'm, like, not single, but, like, come on. She's in here. I will get fucking crazy about dating one guy and, like, talk about every single itty-bitty detail with my friends. Guys, also, I'll talk about this in the dating episode that I make, but, like, kind of RIP to that stage when you get, like, past, like, a couple month mark with, like, your boyfriend, and then, like, you don't tell your friends every single itty-bitty detail of, like, your entire relationship and dates and sex and everything. Like, honestly, RIP to that stage, because, like, if you've been in a relationship longer than, like, 5 months, you hit that stage where you don't tell your friends absolutely everything, and it's, like, kind of sad. That's when you know you're past the beginning of a relationship. But what the fuck was I saying? Oh, the roster. Truly, like, the roster, it's just not my thing. If it is, I'm proud of you. But also check yourself. Are you healthy? Are you happy? Are your boundaries in place? Is it feeling good for you? Because being on a roster, like, it would be like new men circulating in my head 24/7 that I would need to talk about all the time. My friends, I don't think my friends would want to be friends with me. I mean, they would. They love me. They respect me. Like, they would be there for me. But, like, I would talk about a new guy every 10 minutes. That is exhausting. I would be exhausted. If you have a roster right now and you're so tired, you don't need one. You are worthy. You are enough without one. But we're not all that hot. We don't all go to universities that have the potential for that. Guys, I go to the most commuter University of Toronto, okay? I do not have the network for a roster, okay? So, bringing shitty guys into your life, okay? Take responsibility. You are letting shitty guys be in your life. You know, we have a bit of a radar for it. The more we start to love ourselves, focus on ourselves, think about ourselves, and focus less on dating, we don't even have the time of day for these weirdos. Truly, we don't. And when I say weirdos, I say it with all the respect in the world. I hope they do their therapy. I hope they do their self-work and figure out why they're weird, or just, like, cross weird boundaries. But you do let them in. you went on a date with them, you know, and sometimes it's not your fault, but like the story I'm going to tell in the talking stage episode about the guy that made me just absolutely fed up with dating and like really sparked my happy single phase that didn't last very long. I should have not gone on 2 dates. I went on 2. I went on 4 if you count FaceTime, okay? And if I had even more self-love, self-respect, and fulfillment from things that were just about me, I definitely would have cut it off after the first date. I was giving this guy just like the benefit of the doubt and so many chances when I knew the attraction wasn't there for me and I just knew I wasn't into him like that. So you know, and if anyone listened to the Gabrielle Stone episode, I love this quote. The guys in my past were only meant to love and only deserved to love the unhealed version of me. Okay, do we like that? I like that. All of these guys who came into my life that I call weird and I put all the blame on them, it's on me. I let these dudes walk into my life and I was not a healed version of myself yet. I had still so much to work through at the time and I was just putting all my eggs into the dating basket and I allowed the dynamic to continue, the pattern to continue. If you have patterns with dating, oh my God, I had like the biggest weirdo patterns of dating. Oh my God, new men are flashing into my head. I went on a FaceTime date with a guy who didn't believe in gay people and abortions and like abortion rights, and he was just like really, really, really religious, and I don't know why I stayed on the FaceTime for so long. Like, you can't change some people's minds. You just can't. And that just shows that I was allowing the values that weren't aligned with mine to be in my life, okay? So look at your patterns and take fucking responsibility because you actually allow whatever's in your life to be in your life. Because truly, you're not gonna change until you want to change. You're not gonna change until you get fucking fed up with it. Same with my vaginal yeast infection journey. I had to get yeast infections for 6 months before I said, okay, I need to change a shit ton of stuff about my lifestyle for me to not have an itchy coochie all the time. I think I'm gonna reference my itchy coochie in every episode going forward. Once the cat is out of the bag about things I kept a secret from the podcast, I just reference it all the time. I think it genuinely makes it more fun and me seem like a cooler person. I'm cool because I have an itchy coochie. Okay, back on track. You accept and you allow whatever's in your life. So focus on yourself, focus on the things you love, make a passion project. If you want to make a podcast, do it, bitch. If you want to like become a workout instructor, do it, girly or boy. So that's just like, if you take anything away, please take that away. What goes along with this is the importance of never abandon yourself for someone else. So again, like when you know that something doesn't align with your own values and you're like, oh no, it's fine, I'll look past it. Dude, my mom says this. My mom says that one, in the fundamental ways, people never change. I think some people can, but like, don't ever try to change someone. The things that they are concrete and their core beliefs, I don't think really change. And when you try and look past something, my mom also says, everything only gets worse over time. Truly. People only get worse over time, which is such a negative mindset to think about it. But I think past a certain age, or if it's clear someone doesn't want to do the self-work, like their tendencies will continue. Again, the cat girl would love her cat even more in the future, not less. So if there's something at the beginning stages, oh, my friend Tristan told me this too. If there's something in the beginning stages that you're a little iffy about, he was like, my biggest advice is pay attention to it because it's only going to get, more irritating as you get older. It's not going to get less. So just have that in mind. Don't fucking abandon yourself. There's no reason to abandon yourself. It's just you're just going to take even longer to come back to who you are and what you want. And like, that's okay. Also though, I was thinking about certain people I know in my life who have never been in relationships and have never done the dating scene. And I recommend doing it though, because you learn so much about yourself. Dating literally helps you learn so much about yourself and what you want and what you don't. So it's not bad. None of this is bad. All of this is fucking awesome. And if you don't know your values and they're not that clear yet, dating can help you get even more clear on that. Or even better, actually, let's focus on the episode, embracing being single. Being single can help you get really clear on that when you're alone. Instead of running off to a dating app or a date or a first date or going to a party or swiping on a dating app when you're bored, journal, sit with yourself and be like, what do I actually want in a man? What are my intentions? What do I want my profile to say? Because another secret coming out, when I was on dating apps, I would change constantly between having the podcast in the bio and not having it. Because first, like, that's such an opener. All guys asked about the podcast. But at the time, I was also so fucking nervous and insecure about guys finding the podcast and dating me. Oh my God. And the whole root behind this was I was so scared guys would feel like I'm quote unquote too much and they wouldn't date me. But it's like, bro, if a guy wouldn't date me because I have a podcast, why the fuck would I want to date him anyway? And that brings me to such an important part of like, if you wouldn't be friends with this guy, why are you going on dates with him? If you don't agree with a lot of like your core beliefs and values, like if you wouldn't want to just like have him as a bestie, don't have him just because you can fuck him then, because if you date, you know? Oh man. Okay, this is my last point that I think is so awesome and important. If you've just gotten out of a long-term relationship, it's even better to really embrace being single and spend a longer amount of time being single. Because one, you will reference your ex less, okay? You need to do the time to heal your relationship. And there is no timeline of how long it takes to get over your ex. I saw something on Instagram recently that said she thinks that like she was writing about like, oh, how do you get over an ex? And she wrote on Instagram, it's something that I think happens accidentally because you are focusing on yourself and bringing things into your life that bring you joy, that eventually there's no longer room for that person, for your ex, and there's no longer room for those thoughts about your ex. And memories are always going to come up. I mean, I dated a dude for 2 years. Like that's 2 years of my life. That's 2 years of so much of my like developmental years too, from age 15 to 18. 15 to 18. Yeah, 15 to 18. So like obviously things are going to come up about him. And like also if you're dating someone who's like, I don't want to hear about your ex ever. Okay, that red flag, because you need to acknowledge that your ex existed, but it's better to take so much time off to be single after especially a long-term relationship, or if you're heartbroken, even from a situationship, which I was, it gives you time to heal. And like, if you're going to meet your future like partner you want to be with forever, you don't want it to be so close to a breakup because there's no buffer time. You don't even know who you are single. You don't have stories outside of your relationship. You literally don't have stories to tell that typically don't involve your ex. Like genuinely, the amount of times if you're dating someone right after you got out of a different relationship, you're like, cool, yeah, I went to this concert and it was so fun, like same concert you went to. And they're like, oh my God, no way, who'd you go with? And you're like, oh, I went with Max. Or like, oh my God, my graduation, blah, 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 blah. But your ex was there. So like the longer time there is between your breakup and starting dating someone new, the better, because you're not going to feel the need to talk about your ex as much. You're not going to feel the need to purposely avoid stories just because your ex is in them. And you're also just going to simply be healed so much more that you also won't compare your current person to your ex person. Genuinely, because it's so natural to compare the person you're currently with your ex. But at the same time, like, if I started dating my current boyfriend like 3 months after I got out with my ex, like, I don't even know myself. I was single for 2 years, thank fuck, between like long-term boyfriends, and I just know myself so much better. And it also gives you the room to be like, oh, I don't want what that quality that my ex had with this new person. And you have to give yourself so much time to figure that out. And so this time of being single, think about it as all of this time you are forming so much more about who you are and your values and your things you love about life, and your goals for life too are becoming so fucking clear. And you're going to bring that into your future relationship. And that's so good. You don't want to just tag along in your future partner's life just because you don't know exactly what you want yet. Being single is the perfect time to sit and really soak that all in. And guys, I said this, and I'll say it again, it'll be over so much fucking faster than you think it will. And there's some sort of freedom and independence that, like, you'll feel it in different ways, and I hope you do. Like, I'm in a relationship now where, like, I don't talk to him every day I talk to him every day, but I don't talk to him throughout the entire day. We had a great conversation, like, like in the fall about like, if I don't want to answer your call, I'm not going to answer it. Like if I'm in a bad mood and I don't feel like talking to you, why would I answer your call and have a shitty conversation when I could decline your call, have the me time I need, and call you back later when I want to talk to you and I'm in a better mood? And that's awesome. And that's great that I like figured that out. But you don't even have to think about that when you're single. The entire tangent I just went on, you don't even think about that when you're single because you're single. You don't have someone calling you every day. You don't have someone texting you every day. And that can be looked at in, oh, I don't have anyone texting me good morning and it makes me so sad and I'm so lonely. And that's valid. I'm not making fun of you. That's valid. I've been there. Or, oh my God, I don't have to text someone every day. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I never have to tell anyone about it. And I can just live my life. And you just simply don't have that when you're in a relationship. I mean, you have different parts of it. And hopefully if you're in a healthy relationship, you can like talk to your partner about that, about being like, listen, I need to do my thing and have you not be up my asshole. And like a loving partner will respect that. If they don't, kick them to the fucking curb. But stay tuned for my breakup episode because I'll talk about how to kick them to the curb and I'll talk about actual things about how it's challenging to kick people to the curb, especially if you're in an emotionally abusive relationship. But anyway, you got this, girly or boy. And I appreciate you for listening. I hope you got some empowerment. I hope you're embracing being single or reminiscing on your single days because I certainly was making this episode. Stay tuned. I'm going to make episodes about the talking stage, about dating in a long-term relationship, and about breakups. And follow at Human to Human Pod if you want to submit any questions about them. And I'm so excited for this series. Dating is my favorite thing to talk about. And if you are single on Valentine's Day, send one of your girls a lovely, oh my gosh, when I was single last Valentine's Day, one of my really good friends, she literally Uber Eats a really yummy crepe to my house. No context. Like not no context, said Happy Valentine's Day, but out of the blue, I did not expect it. Do something lovely and loving for the people in your life that you love, even if you're not having sex with them, and loving them romantically, because we're all here. We're all here to support each other. And being single is a beautiful gift. It is the default to life. You're going to come into the world by yourself and leave the world by yourself. So enjoy being by yourself. It is a privilege. It is empowering, and you are allowed to be sad about it whenever you're sad about it. Okay, if you like the show, please subscribe. Tell the internet that you like it so maybe I'll get more people listening, because I really hope this is something that can reach more people if it's beneficial. If you have a single friend who's always like super down about being single, send it to the friend. And follow me on Instagram at Human to Human Pod, at Jessica J. McDonald. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Peace and love to my single bitches.